What's going on, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? It's Monday night. It's February 17th, 2025. Brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show, streaming live on the ISC Sports Network and the Tan and J-Man Show Facebook page. It's episode 431 for anybody at home keeping track, which none of you are, but I like to say that anyways. I'm Tanner Lee, host Josh the J-Man Months, joining from the state of Illinois. J-Man, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. It is a pretty frigid tundra out there today, so hopefully everyone is staying warm.
Very cold.
Yeah, looks like better days are on the horizon next week, but right now we're in the throes of February, which are never too fun.
No, and it's kind of we hit on this last week. It's kind of the dead period of sports right now, unless you like college basketball, of course.
Right, which I'm not sure.
I guess NBA.
Are there still NBA fans out there? I don't think either of us like college basketball too much right now.
No, it wasn't a fun week.
February, whatever the date is, 17th, I think, is the date. It hasn't. It was not a fun week. It hasn't been a fun few weeks for me, but yeah, maybe we'll turn it around, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's a good way to put it. Do you have any birdie or bogey for me?
I do. It's a pretty straightforward question. What quarterback has the most passing yards in a single postseason? For the entirety of the postseason, what quarterback has the most passing yards?
Okay. A lot of names come to mind, of course.
Yeah, good quarterbacks. I want to make sure I didn't screw up the record for the most pass yards in a single playoff. This person had 1,219 passing yards in one playoff.
Okay.
That's a lot. Yeah.
All right. 1,219. Well, I will give it my best shot, but not off to a good start yet in 2025. That's for sure.
No. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House for good cuisine, cocktails, casual atmosphere. Located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana.
Yeah, of course, Valentine's Day was on Friday night, so this past weekend. They had a good-looking menu. They had a dinner for two. They had a special cocktail, which was a lemon blueberry colada. They had shareable starters. You could get hot honey goat cheese dip.
Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Crab stuffed mushrooms, diced pork belly bites, coconut shrimp, soup and salad. You had chicken tortellini, loaded baked potatoes, side salad, bacon, egg, and cheese side salad. Entrees, lobster mac and cheese with toast, 16-ounce bone-in ribeye with mashed potatoes, Parmesan crusted chicken with mashed potatoes, penne alla vodka with toast, 8-ounce filet and 8-ounce snapper duo served with creamy mac and cheese and tender asparagus, perfectly portioned for two, and shareable dessert. Some kind of bite sundae, New York cheesecake, chocolate cake, lemon raspberry, something or other. I can't read that on the menu. So,
all right. Is it in small print or you just can't pronounce?
It's small print, and I can't pronounce it either. Of what I can make out of it. So, not a good attempt. So,
yeah, that dinner for two, I'd probably order it for myself. Just give me two entrees, some desserts, some sides. I'll pound that all by myself.
But you back in your single days, J-Man, that wouldn't have surprised me.
1,000%. Could have done it. Challenge accepted.
Except in your single days, I don't think you're going to pay the price.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. My wife has expensive tastes, so my tastes have broadened.
Join the club there.
Yeah, to I'll never financially recover from this level.
Trying to drain our bank accounts.
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not listening, let's be honest.
That's a good point. We can say whatever we want about them with no repercussions.
Try it out, J-Man.
No, thank you. The one night she'll be listening, she'll be watching will be this night. So I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Good stuff. But Did you watch any of the NBA All-Star festivities
Not a
over the
single
weekend?
second. I could have told you one person that was in the dunk contest, and that's Mac McClung. I couldn't tell you any of the other participants at all.
He is now the first 3-time champion. He's won 3 in a row. I did watch a dunk competition. My wife and I did. She had never watched it before. We watched a little bit of the 3-point shootout, but he put on a show in the dunk contest. But even my wife's like, this isn't entertaining without any of the big stars in the
Yeah.
NBA in it. And of course, like it is every year, there's some stars that said they're going to do it next year. Like Giannis said, man, after watching that, I might have to do it. And
Mm.
Ja Morant said the same thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's been hurting the NBA, honestly, is the lack of stars that want to participate in the dunk contest. You shouldn't even put on this dunk contest. You should have just put the one with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine on, and she would have probably enjoyed that one a little more.
Or
But
Blake Griffin over the car.
yeah,
Except
yeah, because
then
back
then
in the
you're
day,
then you're then you're going back 15 years. The video quality is a little different.
it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, LeBron decides not to play in it like the day before, so no one can take his spot, and that means he gets to keep his all-star streak alive. He loves himself some attention. Loves
Yes, he
himself.
does. Yes,
But
he
no,
does.
I didn't watch a single second of the. I didn't even realize the All-Star break was happening now. And the game, it sounded like, was a joke. There was only 40 minutes of actual game time, and the rest were ads or Kevin Hart talking or a tribute to Inside the NBA or any of that. But yeah, they say the stars are going to do the dunk contest. LeBron's never done it once. Every year it's Willie won't he, and he just hasn't done it. Now he's 40. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, he's not going to do it.
Giannis, he's 6'10", has the longest arms in the history of the world. No, thank you. Ja would be fun to watch in it. Just because I prefer the shorter guys anyway, because who cares about watching a 6'10" guy dunk, you know?
Dwight Howard did it a couple times.
It's very rare for a 7-footer like him to be able to do what he did. So that was kind of cool. I mean, Blake's 6'9" as well, so that was pretty cool. But watching a guy like Mac McClung pull him out of the G League every year to do this just because he's so good at it, and he's been doing it since high school,
right?
Too, putting on highlight tapes. So it's pretty. Who else was in it? I think Buzelis from the Bulls was in it. Correct?
He was. He was embarrassing. He couldn't make a dunk.
Well,
the dude, I can't think of his name. He was on UConn last year. He's on Spurs.
Castle.
Yep, he was in it. He was decent. And then there was a guy from the Bucks. I don't even remember who it was.
So usually only 4 guys in it.
They've the last few years. It used to be 8.
That's
They've cut it down to 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought KFC of Barstool Sports had a good compromise. He said you either need to have a grand prize of $10 million and have every franchise pitch in like 300,000. And then maybe some of the stars will do it for 10 million. Or if not, just open it up to like the YouTube dunkers of the world.
Yeah.
The guys who can absolutely fly. Like there's that one guy out there that has a 50-inch vertical.
Yeah.
On YouTube that dunks. I mean, and make a decent cash prize for that. Those guys on that type of stage, they would do dunks that like a lot of people probably couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
It's possible.
The one issue with that is, again, I don't know if people will tune in because they don't know the people's names. That could be the biggest issue of it all. But the thing, and this is the NBA as a whole, I mean, you have guys sitting out in the regular season. They're not going to play an all-star game. So you have people dropping out of that. And then, again, the problem with the league is you still have the same stars you did 15 years ago. LeBron and Steph and those kind of guys are still the 2 biggest names, I would say, in the NBA. And that's been their issue, why ratings are down. I think Silver's got to go. I mean, whatever he's doing is not working. I've never been a big NBA guy, but even looking back 10 years ago, I tuned in more than I would.
Right.
Just the fact that it wasn't just jack up a three, try to do some highlight. There was actually team basketball. And I was watching, for some reason on TikTok, it came through. Maybe it's because it knew I was thinking about the NBA. But it was game, I think, 2 of the Orlando Magic LA Lakers finals. That was 2009?
2009, yep.
And the score at halftime was like 42-40. Like they played defense. It was kind of a rough watch because guys couldn't make shots. And I know you have incredible shot makers now and people want to go watch points. But at the same time, man, I miss those days where, the Pistons with the no-name team essentially winning an NBA championship without a superstar. I know they had a couple Hall of Famers looking back, but it's just I don't care about the NBA. I'll check the box score every once in a while to see how the Illinois guys are doing.
Yep.
And even that, it's starting to dwindle. Like I used to check every night to see how Ayo Dosunmu played. Now I'm like, I don't even know if he's still with the Bulls at this point. I assume he is. I would have heard about it. But yeah, they got to do something or the NBA might be cooked.
Yep. Yeah. It's interesting. I saw today, I'm always thinking, when's the NBA going to expand? Because I want the Sonics to come back, and I just think it's a matter of time before Seattle gets them back and Vegas gets a team. I saw the WNBA announced a new team today. Cleveland is getting a team in 2028. I guess they had a team that disbanded in 2003, so they're bringing them back, the Cleveland Rockers.
Oh, interesting. Are they just bringing back one team?
That's the only one I saw, but it was on a Facebook post that was just talking about that. Let me see if I bring anybody else back.
I don't know how many teams are in
just Cleveland.
Okay. So are they going to go odd number for a little bit?
Even though yesterday there was an article here that says NBA's newest expansion franchise city gets revealed as Cleveland. League considers reaching 18 teams.
Okay. So they'd be at 17 then.
Yes. So they said cities such as Philadelphia, Houston, Nashville, Detroit, and Miami strongly contending for additional franchise slots besides Cleveland.
Nashville's going to get a professional sports franchise besides the Titans, and they have obviously the Predators. But I think they'll get an MLB team eventually, and I think they'll get an NBA team as well. That's a cool city that can.
Nashville Sounds, Nashville Guitars.
Nashville Sounds they are, unless they changed their name, they were the Brewers AAA.
Oh, really? It was a minor league team? I didn't know that.
I'm like 1,000% sure there was a Nashville Sounds. They might have changed their name. Not 100%. It's either AAA or AA for the Brewers at one time. That was a long time ago now.
No, they are minor league team. AAA for the Brewers.
Oh, still are. Cool. I thought so. But yeah, that makes sense. Maybe they've kind of merge
Nashville Notes
to Nashville Notes. You got Nashville. My brain's not firing. I'm usually pretty good at the Nashville. Nope, not even gonna try. I was gonna say something. I was gonna try to do something with Johnny Cash, but yeah,
I got nothing either. I got nothing. We'll put that out for the Tana J Man Show Nation to ponder and throw some good potential Nashville nicknames out there to us. So, yeah. But speaking of basketball, college basketball, of course, there's been a lot of shakeups in the Big Ten conference standings. As we say here on February 17th, Michigan Wolverines are now your conference leaders with a 12-2 conference record, followed by Michigan State at 11-3. Purdue at 11-4, Wisconsin at 10-4, Maryland and UCLA at 10-5, Illinois at 9-7, and everybody else behind Illinois has a losing conference record.
Yeah, it seems like barring a total collapse of Illinois, the top 7 is pretty much set there in the Big Ten Conference. And again, there's a lot to be shaken out here the next. Is there 3 weeks left?
3 weeks left.
3 weeks left. But yeah, teams have started to separate themselves. Dusty May's done a heck of a job there at Michigan. I mean, they went 8-20 something last year, 24, and now they have a pretty good lead. I think it's a game and a half lead at least in the Big Ten. Over Michigan.
They're 12-2, and Michigan State's 11-3. Michigan only has one game this week. It is against Michigan State. Michigan State's got 2 against Purdue and Michigan. So
that's the game of the week right now. As far as who, I think the winner of that will probably determine who wins the Big Ten Conference, depending on obviously the rest of their schedules. But rough week for Purdue. They found a way but they lost at Michigan, and then Wisconsin, you just ran into a buzzsaw in the second half, giving up 58 points.
Yeah, I mean Purdue was up by as much as 10 against Michigan, but just couldn't find a way to make the big play at the end of the game. Even though they had a shot at the buzzer to win,
Yeah.
didn't make it. Did, didn't get a kind of whistle. I mean that happens on the road, unfortunately, at times. 26 free throws shot to 8, so that was a little frustrating, especially when Trey Coppin ran had 18 or 19 shot attempts and he didn't shoot a single free throw. That was frustrating, but they just didn't get a lot of. Of help outside of Braden Smith and TKR. And then Saturday, like you said, they kind of ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, they were up 1.5 on Wisconsin, but Wisconsin opened up in second half, shot 70 plus percent. Second half, they were 20 for 22 for the game for 2 pointers. And they just kind of whooped Purdue on defense. Purdue would get it down to about 6. And then Wisconsin would hit a shot clock expiring shot or whoop somebody backdoor for a layup or a dunk, something like that. Trey Coffman had 30 points, but really nobody else helped. Braden Smith he scored a couple points, but wasn't himself scoring. He had 12 assists, but he didn't score the ball well. Guys like Miles Colvin and Camden Heide couldn't make open threes. Then Miles hits 3 in the second half, but 2 of them were really late within the last 90 seconds of the game. Yeah, it's gut check time for Purdue now. I mean, they've lost 2 straight. Now they're in 3rd place for the conference. They at least, it'd still be nice if they could find a way to three-peat, but they at least want to keep their streak of getting a double bye in the Big Ten tournament going. But this is a big week at Michigan State tomorrow night, at Indiana Sunday. 2 hostile environments, 2 teams that don't like Purdue at all. And the last time Purdue's lost 3 straight games of any kind, conference or non-conference, got to go back to the 2019-2020 season. So it's been a little while. So
Is that the last time they've lost 2 in a row? Because I was thinking about that the other day because they hadn't lost 2 in a row in a long time either.
No, they lost 2 in a row 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was in December, I think, when they lost 2 in a row that year. But yeah, we'll see. It's I'm nervous. I'm not as confident as I was sitting here a week ago.
It's crazy. It's crazy how 1 week can change your perspective on things. And probably a lot has to do with losing a home game because I think you can live with losing at Michigan.
Right.
It's just especially at Mackey Arena. That's now 2 home losses in Big Ten play. When's the last time they've done that?
Well, I know that 1920 season they lost 5 home games.
Yeah, I love that season.
But after that, I don't think they've lost. Oh, they lost 2 home games 2 years ago, Rutgers and Indiana.
Oh, interesting.
Both got them.
I don't remember that at all.
Year before that was, I think, Wisconsin. It's crazy. Wisconsin, this was their 6th win ever in Mackey. But 2 of those have become in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, this Wisconsin team's hot.
They can score the ball.
Yeah, I made fun of our boy John Rothstein early in the year saying this is the best Wisconsin offense he's ever seen. I'm thinking they were unbelievable, that national runner-up team in 2015, but he might be right. I think they shoot the ball better for sure.
Yeah.
And I think both of us had them finish. I think I always have them lower than I probably should, but I think we both had them finishing in the bottom half of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I can check that real quick.
I
would like to see them again in the Big Ten tournament.
Definitely. You guys don't have to play at the Kohl Center.
No, and we lost to them last year in the Big Ten tournament in overtime.
Yeah,
by point in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
It kind of has Purdue's number. I had Wisconsin 11th, and you have them 12th. Yeah.
Yeah, so about the same.
And we know a lot, don't we?
We're very smart. Who would have thought, John Tanji would be the player he is transferring from, I remember where he transferred from, Missouri State or something like that. John Blackwell made a jump. He's been good. Nolan Winter has made a massive jump. I think he averaged 3 points a game last year, and he's in double figures this year. So Greg Gard knows how to coach. It'll be, I think Dusty May will win Coach of the Year, but Greg Gard has just as good of a shot, in my opinion, to win the Coach of the Year this year.
And the Wisconsin, of all of the top 4, Wisconsin has the easiest schedule remaining.
Yeah,
of the top
maybe they
four
can get a
teams.
backdoor because they have 4 losses, right?
They're 11 or 10-4. 10 and
Okay.
4.
So they have 6 games left still.
They host Illinois tomorrow night.
Yeah.
They host Oregon, host Washington, at Michigan State, at Minnesota, host Penn State.
I think they win at least 5 of those. The deciding factor could be at Michigan State, and I think Michigan State's good for another loss or two.
Looking at Michigan's schedule, remain scheduled, they host Michigan State on Friday. They're at Nebraska next Monday, host Rutgers next Thursday, host Illinois on March 2nd, host Maryland March 5th, and then at Michigan State March 9th. I see a couple losses in there for
Yeah, I think
Michigan.
they'll wake up a little bit. Good win for them yesterday at Ohio State. I mean, took them to the buzzer, and Thornton left a little floater about 10
Oh,
feet short.
he surprised himself how
Yeah,
open he
how open he
was and
was.
just short armed it.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of up and down a little bit. I know they've only lost 2 games, and it's stupid to say they're up and down, but they lost at Minnesota. They should have lost to Purdue. Could have lost to Ohio State. So I just think they're due for a few losses as well.
Yeah, they're finding some ways to get it done at the end.
Yeah, which is, that's a sign of a good team, good coach.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Mitch Melton with a good comment here on Facebook. I really thought Store would have hurt them worse than it did.
Storr is playing horrendously for Kansas, and I think it might have been one of those addition by subtraction without knowing that was going to happen. Because, I thought Storr was going to be an absolute superstar, and now he goes to Kansas where he's coming off the bench. I think he's averaging around 7 points a game. Kansas is their lowest ranked they've been since 2009. Tied their lowest ranking. They're 25th, and the only reason why they're probably still ranked is because they're Kansas.
Right.
So losing Storr, I think the ball moves better because that ball would stick with Storr because you knew that thing was going up a lot of the time.
Yep.
I think guard was okay with that. And they lost Chucky Hepburn too. So
yeah, that's true.
It's an unbelievable job by Greg Gard because I really, really thought they were going to not be very good. Both of us did.
Right now, as it stands on February 17th, of the Big Ten tournament started today. Well, Washington, Northwestern, Penn State would be your 3 teams out. And maybe this was just the Purdue fan. I mean, when Purdue lost at Penn State in early December, I didn't think it was going to be that bad of a loss. And here they are, 3-12 in the Big Ten.
I thought they were going to be pretty dang good. And I don't know what's happened there, but they have absolutely imploded. Because I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, I don't want to go to Penn State. Illinois beat them by 39 without KJ, and I think that's kind of when it started tanking for him. Started tanking for Illinois too. But I thought they were going to be at least right there. I think even in my bold predictions, I said at least 10 teams of the Big Ten would make the tourney, and I think I included Penn State in that because at the time I was thinking, this team's going to be pretty good. They're going to knock off some teams, and they don't win anymore.
Yeah, I still think you might be pretty safe with 10. I think Lenardi had 10 in his last bracketology, so I think you're right there. You're pretty close.
It'll be close. But, I mean, you've had teams start to play pretty well, like Ohio State, Nebraska, I think is pretty safe right now. But, other than that, I think that's pretty safe top 10. I don't think you're going to see a team like there's really not even any team. Maybe if Indiana gets hot, I mean, they had a big win.
They better get hot starting now.
They have to win. They obviously have to beat Purdue. Do they play anyone else this week?
No, just Sunday.
They must win against Purdue. They had a big one, winning at Michigan State, and then found a way to lose to UCLA, which I thought UCLA was going to choke that one away. But Indiana's still a scary team to play because they have the talent, and they've been right there. They could have beaten Maryland. They could have beaten UCLA.
Could have beat Purdue.
Could have beat Purdue in Mackey.
Maybe should have had a lead with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, they could have at least. So they're a team that could potentially sneak in if they have to pretty much win out, I think, in the regular season at least. But
because they're looking at their record, they're 15-11 and 6-9 in conference.
Their issue is they played nobody in the non-conference. And that catches up with you. That's what's kind of not saving. I think Illinois is pretty safe right now in the 6-7 line or so. But they played a tough non-con. Same with Michigan. They have only played one team that's ranked worse than in the top 175 of the net. They've played 0 quad 4 games, and that's respectable to do that. And more teams should start doing that, especially if you think you're going to have a good team. Because if you struggle in conference play, or if you even struggle in non-con, that just puts so much more pressure on you to win in conference, which is so much more difficult to do.
Michigan's the only team that's undefeated at home this season in the Big Ten. They're 12-0.
I'm trying to think who they've played at home. Purdue, Oregon.
So they got Michigan State at home this Friday.
Still have Michigan State coming up. They still have Illinois coming up.
I don't know if they've played Wisconsin. They've played Wisconsin. I don't know where they played them out.
They won in Wisconsin, the first Big Ten game of the season for both of them. But, big week for Indiana because I think they're the one team that's strictly bubble. Well, Ohio State's bubble as well. But I think
USC's 14-11, 6-8 in conference, but I don't think they're on the bubble right now.
Well, they just lost at home to Minnesota, so I think if they were even thought about being a bubble team, they're no longer. Because they were barely hanging on in the top 75 in the net.
I mean, I was right there with Indiana, 14-11, 5-9 in conference.
Yeah, they gave up 100+ points to Maryland yesterday.
I mean, I guess why is IU more so the bubble than some of these other teams?
That's a good question. I don't really know, other than maybe it has everything to do with them.
I mean, they do have the at Michigan State win now, but besides that win, where's their good wins?
That's it.
At Ohio State, I guess.
That's a quad one win. I think at Michigan State and at Ohio State are their only quad one wins this year.
Because non-conference, their best wins either Providence or South Carolina.
And both are under 500.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
They beat Rutgers at home. They're bad. They're the only team under 500 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're 12-14.
Total overall record.
Total, yep.
They got skunked by Illinois. They got beat by Maryland, UCLA.
Wisconsin smacked them up in Wisconsin.
Smacked them in Wisconsin. Michigan beat them there. They've been real close to beating Michigan too.
They've had a lot of close losses. Yeah. I guess maybe that's something they're taking into consideration, but
it's helping their metrics in their net rating in a sense to keep it. Yeah. But still, they're barely in the top 60, if they're even in the top 60 in the net. So that's not a tourney team at all. I don't even know why they're still being considered at this point. They got to get hot fast. So.
Looking at the top 16 seeds that were revealed on Saturday, of course, these might have changed already in the committee's mind post this weekend. But your number one seeds as of Saturday: Auburn, number one in the South; Alabama, number one in the Midwest; Duke, number one in the East; Florida, number one in the West. Number two seeds: Tennessee, 2 seed in the East; Texas A&M, 2 seed in the South; Purdue, 2 seed in the Midwest; Houston, 2 seed in the West. 3 seeds: Iowa State, 3 seed in the Midwest; Kentucky, 3 seed in the West; Wisconsin, 3 seed in the South; and Arizona, 3 seed in the East. And your 4 seeds: Texas Tech, 4 seed in the South; Michigan, 4 seed in the West; Kansas, 4 seed in the Midwest; St. John's, 4 seed in the East.
Again, I think the Kansas thing has more to do with them being Kansas than anything. Because I don't think they're much better than a 7 or 8 seed at this point of the season. I mean, they just lost to Utah, for God's sakes. They stink. Utah is terrible this year.
What a weird Big 12 matchup.
That is weird. Yeah. I have nothing to add to that.
Is Kansas one of the most disappointing teams in the country? I guess that's a conversation we could have. Who's been the surprise? Some of the surprise teams around the country. Who's been some of the disappointments?
Kansas is a disappointment. I think Gonzaga is probably the number one disappointment. Yeah. And honestly, I think they'll get in just because they're Gonzaga. But you look at their resume, they beat Baylor, who's ended up not being that great. I think they're going to be a tourney team. Then a whole lot of nothing. I mean, they have home loss. I think they lost at home to Santa Clara.
Yeah, I think they got a couple home losses, maybe.
They have a couple home losses in conference, which is not good if you're losing in conference in the West Coast Conference. So I think they might have to they'll
win that conference tournament probably.
They'll win the conference tourney, and they'll get in. But and again, that'll be a dangerous, 7, 8, 9, 10 seed,
Oh,
or whatever.
yeah.
But I would say they're one of the more
Yeah.
disappointing teams. Them in Kansas. Surprise! I think did Florida come into the season ranked, because I think they're projected to be pretty good, but
They might have, but I didn't see them be number 2 in the
seed.
country good.
No. Auburn and Alabama were supposed to be good, but I don't
St.
think
John's is a surprise in my
St.
book.
John's is the surprise. Yeah, I mean, this is the highest ranking they've had since I think 2000, and yeah, Rick Pitino might be pound for pound the best coach in the country. He really knows what he's doing. Obviously, Louisville's a little bit of surprise.
Yeah, top 25. Yeah.
Pat Kelsey, though, he's a heck of a coach. He was great at Winthrop, great at College of Charleston, and Louisville fans hated the hire, because he wasn't a sexy, hire that they
Wasn't going to win the press conference. Yep.
And he's done a great job. He reloaded in the portal, and they're going to be an NCAA tournament team after, winning 6 games last season. So, it's hard to do disappointments when it comes to national, because I don't follow national as well.
How about, and they're going to make the tourney, but coming off back-to-back national titles, how about UConn being a little bit of a disappointment?
I would say they're a disappointment. They're now unranked. They had a great win at Creighton early in the week, and then followed it up by losing to arguably the worst power high major in Seton Hall, who was 6-18 coming into that game.
Yep.
And I think, I think especially non-UConn fans are starting to really, really despise Dan Hurley, because he's a cocky
he's awful.
And he just points to his rings, and which, hey, you've won 2 of them. Like, congrats, man. We really wish he would have taken the Lakers job, so we wouldn't have to hear about him anymore. But he didn't. So, but yeah, I would say that they are, again, they'll be a scary, 7, 8, 9, wherever they end up. But disappointment.
UNC's disappointing a little bit, but I mean, that's Hubert Davis. I don't know. I don't think he's fit for the job.
I agree, and I think they need to make a change. I don't think they're anywhere near the tourney, but I think they're still in the convo just because they're North Carolina. But yeah, it came into the year ranked. I think they were 9th, and they just have stunk. And they did this a few years ago. They were the first team ever to be ranked number 1 in the preseason and then missed the tourney, just because they got everyone back from their miracle national title game run when they were 8 seed. I think they were
8 or 9. Yeah.
And then, they had a great year last year, but they laid an egg in the Sweet 16 against Alabama, where they were 1 seed. So, I think it's getting the natives are getting restless in Chapel Hill, and it's tough hiring an alum and then firing the alum. And so they're going to have to make some difficult decisions. Luckily for Duke, anyway, John Shire's done a heck of a job there, and I think he's going to be there forever. He can recruit. He's a really good coach. I think they are the team right now that I'd probably take to win it all at this point.
Yep.
So,
I think Arkansas is disappointment with all the hype with Calipari.
Yeah. They're definitely a disappointment. Cal, I just think the game's kind of passed them by a little bit now that everyone's on a level playing field now with NIL. We can make those jokes all we want, but it's accurate, and it's started to slip here the past 5 years for him anyway. Even when he has had good teams at Kentucky, they lose to St. Peter's in the 15-2 game. They lost to Oakland in the 14-3 game last year.
Yep.
And I think as of right now, Arkansas on Lenardi's is maybe, I think they were one of the last 4 buys last I checked. So they're still in contention. But yeah, they came in, I think, ranked 16th. This season, and they've been a disappointment. You can throw Indiana in there. What were they ranked coming into the year?
Yeah, they're top 20.
And we've talked about them a lot. I'll throw this team on there as a disappointment to me, and that's Illinois, especially after murdering Oregon in Oregon. I think they were top 15 at that point. I think, man, this team might win it all. And now they've been dealt a rough injury and illness bug, and that's can be used as an excuse, but still, when they get everyone back healthy, they still haven't played that great. So I'm disappointed with them.
Anyway. Why the middle of February non-conference neutral game against Duke? Why?
I don't know. looking back, I was pumped for it, but now I'm like, I wish they wouldn't have done that. I wish they wouldn't have done that. Um, but
You never know. You never know.
I know pretty well what's gonna happen. But I think they just didn't have room to schedule it in
Okay.
the early portion. And we've seen some non-con games in February before, not many Big
Not
Ten ones
many.
that I can
Yeah.
remember. I think didn't the Big 12 and SEC used to have their thing like late January, their
Yeah.
challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's a weird non-con at MSG. So it's not going to be a fun week for Illinois as they have I would say the hottest team in the Big Ten in Wisconsin at the Kohl Center. Although Illinois has had Wisconsin's number, they have not lost to them since when did they lose to them? It was either January or February of 2019. So it's been 6 years. They've won 4 straight at the Kohl Center. If you would have told me that 10, 15 years ago, I would have called you a liar. So maybe Wisconsin coming off this massive high of winning in a place that they never win in Mackey, they lay an egg. But it just Saturday's loss was just deflating. They get up 16 early. I'm thinking, all right, we're gonna win this one, and then the Illinois shot selection just keeps teams in the game. They just jack up threes. Ran no offense in the second half, especially when Michigan State started making their push. And then you lose your best rebounder in Merez Johnson to a broken wrist on a heck of a block, a two-handed, volleyball spike out of bounds that he was then undercut on the guy that was going for the layup and broke his wrist. So now the one reason you could live with all the threes they shot is because they offensive rebounded about 40% of them. But now you have your best rebounder that's going to be probably out for the season. And I don't think they've lost 3 in a row since February 2020, and they're staring down the barrel this week at Wisconsin
Right there with you.
and then Duke. So they lost 2 in a row a few weeks ago for the first time in 2 seasons. The Underwood's teams have a way to kind of bounce back, though, and so we'll see what kind of effort they give. If they give a poor effort on Tuesday, it could be a rough. I think even if they go 0-5 the rest of the way, which they shouldn't. I mean, they play Iowa at home. They'd still make the tourney. They'd sweat it a little bit, and they still have the Big Ten tourney too.
Right.
Yeah, it's just been kind of this season has not gone as well as I thought it would. I was asked today by our friend Evan Webb, who was on the show 2 weeks ago. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If this has been more disappointing or worse than the one 2 years ago when they kind of did the same thing. No, this team has been more likable to watch. The issue with this team is they're coming off a season where they went to the Elite Eight. And so you have, you remember the Elite Eight and the way you felt then. So it's kind of heightened it up. I think this is kind of the team a lot of people were expecting. I mean, you have the top 10 NBA talent, KJ. And he has not played very well here down the stretch. Will Riley's played pretty well, but it's been disappointing. And I just at this point just get in the tourney, maybe win a game, maybe get to second weekend because I think they have the talent to do it. That'd be awesome. If you say right now they get to Sweet 16, I say sign me up. I don't care what happens after that. But we'll see how they respond tomorrow night. I wish they played on Wednesday. I hate Tuesday games.
Yeah, I know. Purdue's got another back-to-back weeks, 7:00 Tuesday game. I don't like it. On the road, I don't like it.
And the worst part is you lose the game on Tuesday, and then you got all freaking week to just sit there and not want to watch college basketball at all.
Yep.
I haven't watched a lick of college basketball since Saturday night. You win that game, it's awesome.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. So you're right there with me. Yeah.
Well, I guess I watched the last 30 seconds of Ohio State, Michigan yesterday.
I couldn't even stomach doing. I don't even know if I turned the TV on yesterday. that's how I just didn't.
I was trying to watch Daytona 500. I get into that race every year. I'm not as big NASCAR guy as I used to be, so I turn it on. We'll have 3-hour rain delay every year. I swear, every year that happens. But I'm always amazed. Like, man, they plan ahead. They have so much content to fill in during the rain delay. It's always impressive.
Yeah, you never know.
It's always impressive. But you know what's going to happen in that MSG game, J-Man? Illinois is going to fight, keep it close, and my boy Mason Gillis is going to hit a big 3 towards the end.
Wouldn't be the first time I've seen that against Illinois. He hit a. I remember he hit a. Illinois was on a run last year against Purdue, and I think they were up about 5 with like 2.5 left. I could be way off. And he hits just the most mind-numbing 3 with a guy in his face, and then Purdue just kind of took control there the final couple minutes. But
he could hit some big shots.
He had been hurt here, I think, and he hadn't played. Maybe he was sick. I assume he's back.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he's back. Yeah, I don't know if he was sick or hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
He probably. I have a hard time. I don't know who's going to guard Cooper Flagg.
It's not going to say
Ben Hummerkaus out there trying to guard that guy. Good luck to you. Not looking forward to it.
Looking at Big Ten games and picking them, both of our teams are 3.5-point underdogs tomorrow night.
That makes sense.
Yeah, starting with Purdue at Michigan State.
Purdue doesn't lose 3 in a row. Give me Purdue.
Purdue's dominated this series for a while now. They've played really well at the Breslin. I probably regret it, but I am taking Purdue in a close one. Something just tells me they're going to come out mad and play hard.
Thought that on Saturday too, though.
I did. You're right. I did. And to lose by 10 points at home still stings.
Yeah.
But if they lose this one, I'm really going to start getting nervous because at Indiana, then UCLA at home, those aren't going to be easy. Illinois at Wisconsin.
Give me Wisconsin, especially no Mo Johnson. But again, stranger things has happened, especially with Underwood's teams. I mean, sometimes they lose a guy and they come out and just hit everything. They're due to hit everything. But I think Wisconsin's better than them right now.
I'm taking Wisconsin a close one, 5 points for less.
It probably will be.
Yeah. What gets hard to beat Wisconsin in a close game is because they're so good at free throw shooting.
Yeah. I think they're the top in the country free throw shooting team.
Top program in the history also.
Wow.
NCAA history.
I think they're showing over 80%, right?
Or 84, 85%. Yeah.
I want to say they missed a decent amount in Champaign earlier in the year, which that win is aging like fine wine now.
Minnesota at UCLA, 10:30 tomorrow night.
Give me UCLA. They're a good team. They don't have an alpha dog, but they're a good team.
I like the Bruins there as well. Interesting one Wednesday night, Nebraska at Penn State.
Ooh, that's that's danger. That's a
game Nebraska can't afford to lose right now.
Yeah. Penn State's due for a win. Give me Penn State.
I'll take Nebraska. I was going to take whoever you didn't take. So,
all right.
Oregon at Iowa.
It's been tough. I mean, UCLA won their first game outside the Pacific time zone. So it's been tough for these West Coast teams to come out east. Iowa gives up a ton of points. I think this is a very close game. I'm taking the home team, though. Give me Iowa.
I'm taking the Hawkeyes as well. Rutgers at Washington. Just a short road trip for Rutgers.
The Paul Mulcahy Bowl. Yeah, I forgot about him until this moment, and somehow he popped in mid. Man. Give me Rutgers. I don't know why. Talent wins.
Yeah, I'm taking Rutgers as well. For Thursday night, Northwestern at Ohio State.
Give me Ohio State. Ohio State cannot afford to lose this one.
Taking the Buckeyes as well. USC at Maryland.
Give me Maryland. Maryland is a sneaky best team in the conference right now.
Taking Maryland as well. Friday night, 8 o'clock, Fox, Michigan State at Michigan.
Give me Michigan. I think Michigan State loses both this week.
I'm taking Michigan as well. Saturday, Oregon at Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Taking Wisconsin as well. So we both have Oregon having a bad week.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I'll take the Gophers as well. Washington at Iowa.
Iowa. I think Iowa bounces back.
Yeah, so Iowa, that'd be a good week for them. They really need it.
Yeah.
And Illinois against Duke, 8 o'clock, Saturday night, MSG.
What channel is that on?
That is on Fox.
Okay. Duke. I don't even know why I needed to know that.
I'm taking Duke as well. That's got Gus Johnson written all over it, J-Man.
Yeah, it was Gus Johnson the other night, too.
Yeah. 1:30 Sunday, CBS, Purdue at Indiana.
Give me Indiana. When's the last time? Well, I guess they have played a few Saturdays, but it seems like it's always like a Thursday night for some reason.
This year it was Friday night at Mackey and then Sunday afternoon. Purdue's game against Wisconsin on Saturday afternoon was like their second Saturday afternoon game in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah.
At Oregon was a Saturday
afternoon.
That
happens.
Yeah. I will take Purdue in a close one. But I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Actually,
At
this will
all.
be the J-Man's book of prediction of the week. Purdue wins both games this week.
You just took Indiana.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you did take Indiana.
I might have, but then I said I'm taking Purdue, so I don't know why I
Okay.
took Indiana.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, Purdue wins both this week. I think they bounce back. 2 good road wins.
I hate your book at predictions.
Book at prediction of the week is brought to you by Travis Watchering Insurance Agency for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis 219-869-4561.
Here's a weird tip time for you. 3:45 on Sunday. CBS also. Ohio State at UCLA.
Give me UCLA.
I'm taking the Bruins. And then 6 o'clock Sunday night on Fox Sports 1, USC at Rutgers.
Give me Rutgers. Good week for Rutgers. They get back to 500.
I'll take the Scarlet Knights as well. Well, while we're talking about Big Ten, I got the blind ranking segment this week, and we're talking Big Ten coaches, and you rank them blindly, of course, without knowing which one comes next. And your criteria is on their overall career.
Okay.
Starting with Bo Ryan.
Oh, man. 2.
That's
good. He was a heck. I mean, he put Wisconsin basketball on the map. They were terrible before he got there.
They did make a Final Four in 2000 before he got there.
That is true. But they had the national title run when they lost to Duke in 2015. But man, no one could win in the Kohl Center. Very rare for somebody going. They had a very consistent program.
Thad Matta.
He had a national title run as well. His 2 Butler years, second era of Thad Matta Butler, has knocked him down a peg. So I'm gonna put him at 4.
Put him at 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt Painter.
Oh man, that's tough. Man, I'm gonna put him in the 3 slot. I think there's somebody better than Matt Painter on that list.
All right. Who do I want to throw out there as number 5? I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think. Oh, I got Tubby Smith.
Did he win a national title?
He did at Kentucky.
Gosh, dang. I can't put him. I'm gonna have to put him 5. I have to put him 5. I just don't think he was a great coach, but he won a national title. So, man, that's tough.
Well, and I knew I was saving this guy for last. Tom Izzo.
I can put him 1. I'm okay with that. I would have. I'm okay, even though Tubby won at Kentucky. I'm pretty sure it was with Pitino's guys, right?
Yeah, it was in. He did win a national title, didn't he? I'm second guessing myself now.
Because his Minnesota tenure wasn't very good. Wasn't very good at Texas Tech. Then he went somewhere like High Point or somewhere weird. I'm 1,000% okay with that list. Izzo has a title.
98, because Pitino won 96, he won 98. He also, that was the only Final Four he made. Okay.
They ran
5 SECs though.
They ran him out. I'm very okay with him 5. I think Thad's better. Yep. Has had I guess the title is the thing that gets me. But again, overall career, I think I'd probably take Tubby's career.
I think I would have went the exact order you did.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good list.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I like that segment.
Yeah, it's a good one. And that is this week's blind ranking segment, which is brought to you by Like It Will Be every week in 2025. Performer Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Performer Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs, so you need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574-210-3815. And right before we get into the On This Day, I did have some texts about the Nashville nicknames. It's from Tanya Shriver, wife of loyal viewer Sean Shriver. She says Nashville Pickers, Nashville Knights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Not bad.
yeah,
Not bad.
yeah, yeah.
I would think maybe Major League Baseball would want to steal the Sound nickname
Yeah.
from them, but yeah.
Yeah.
On this day, though, you ready to get educated?
Always.
On this day in 1943, New York Yankee Joe DiMaggio enlists in the U.S. Army.
Pretty legendary baseball figure.
Yeah. Um, I read something the other day on Twitter that Ted Williams also was in the military during the
Yep.
World War II, and
Hmm.
he played more games in that 4-year stretch than Anthony Rendon has as a member of the Angels over the past 5 years.
That's embarrassing.
I wish I would have saved it on Twitter. That makes me mad now because I could be wrong, but it was something of that nature. But yeah, on this day in, man, there's not a whole lot of good ones. 1968, the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame opened in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Never been.
Neither. Who won the Daytona 500 on this day in 1974?
74. Let's go with Bobby Allison.
Richard Petty became the
Ah, man,
first
I'm
driver to
stupid.
win back-to-back titles
Yeah.
at Daytona.
The King. Yep.
On this day, a lot of Daytonas.
Yep.
On this day, I've never heard of
I'll take
half
a
these
take a
guys.
I'll take a stab at him.
1985, who won the Daytona?
How about Darrell Waltrip?
Bill Elliott.
Oh yeah, Bill Elliott. He used to drive the McDonald's car when we were small.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, Bill Elliott. Number
on this
9.
day in 1987, the New York Yankees first baseman Don Mattingly won the highest salary arbitration ever, $1.975 million per year. I'm pretty sure that's the vet minimum now.
Donnie
Major League Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Still not a Hall of Famer.
Nope. On this day in 1991, who won the Daytona?
Dale Jarrett.
Ernie Irvan, who was driving for Morgan McClure Motorsports, can't talk, coast to win after Challengers crash on final laps. On this day in 2002, who won Daytona?
It was the year after Dale's death. Waltrip won in 01. Junior didn't win. 02 was I don't know why. I don't think it was this guy. Was it Ricky Rude?
Ward Burton.
Well,
Excuse me.
about the same career as Ricky Rude had. Okay.
Became the first Dodge to win since Richard Petty in 1974. Who won in 2008? Bunch of Indiana guys involved in this one.
Yeah. Let's go with Gordon.
Ryan Newman. He's an Indiana guy, right?
Yep, Purdue
South
graduate. Yep, South Bend. Yep.
He won the shootout going into final turn from Tony Stewart. He's also an Indiana guy, right?
Yep.
Where are the Bush brothers from? Kurt and Kyle.
I think they're from California.
Oh, okay. Who won on this day in 2008? The East beat the West in the NBA All-Star Game. Who won MVP?
East beat the West. 08. Let's go with Dwight Howard.
LeBron won. The game. 2013, the West beat the East. Who won MVP?
2013, Western Conference. Let's go with Kevin Durant.
Chris Paul. That was a good guess, though. Let's see here. I don't know. A lot of Olympics. Who won 2019 Daytona 500?
I used to be so good at these, and I just haven't. Let's go with Joey Logano.
He finished second. Joe Gibbs Racing goes 1, 2, and 3. Denny Hamlin held off Joey Logano and teammate Kyle Busch. So Logano either finished second or third.
This is Denny Hamlin's last year, I believe.
Who won in 2020?
COVID year 2020. feel like they just showed that the other day. Was it Austin Dillon?
Denny Hamlin won a second straight
Oh, shoot.
by
Man, I'm
point
awful at this.
0.014 seconds over Ryan
That's
Blaney.
literally by a nose. Ryan
Yeah.
Blaney's an Indiana boy.
Is he now? And
Yeah.
that'll do it for On This Day this week.
And the sponsor of On This Day is probably embarrassed by my NASCAR performance. He probably would have done a lot better than me, and that's Thad Mooney of Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting them on Instagram and on Facebook at Mooney Woodcrafts is their handle on there. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your first sign order. So maybe you're a big NASCAR fan and you want a big wooden sign of the favorite of your of the number of your favorite driver. That can do that for you. Let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you 15% off your first order.
Yes, sir. About 3.5 minutes left. What else you got on the docket tonight, T-Dog?
Well, we'll save. We were thinking about doing a top 5 list of Purdue, Illinois, and Indiana players since 2000. We'll save that for next week. We need we're gonna need some filler for the next few weeks until the tournament starts.
We did pretty good tonight. We were worried about tonight.
We did. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot.
Baseball, I can talk a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. I don't really have any.
Alex Bregman signed with the Boston Red Sox, a 3-year, $120 million deal, which I think with deferred money is essentially a 3-year, $90 million deal. But he's with the Red Sox, and he's been a third baseman his whole career. And they asked Rafael Devers today, will you move off a third and go to DH so Bregman can take third? And Devers goes, nope. So pretty good teammate there because Devers has been one of the worst defensive third basemen in baseball the past, really since his career started. So Cubs roster is pretty much set unless Jed's got something up his sleeve, which we all know he doesn't. And they always come in about one player short. Past couple years, it's been offense. Last year, everyone was like, you need more bullpen help, need more bullpen. And he's like, we're going to roll with the guys we got. And they just got shellacked the first couple months, and they end up missing the playoffs. This year, you need another starter. You need another starter. Well, now you got Matthew Boyd and Colin Ray probably rounding out the rotation, which is not ideal because you're going to have some injuries. And we'll see. But Cubs start their spring training games on Friday, believe it or not. They're starting a little earlier, them and the Dodgers, just because they play in Japan here in a month. I think it's March 16th, 17th. And it'd be fun to have baseball, but at the same time, I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. to watch the Cubs open the season. Which
you would have at one time before you got married.
I probably would have. Yeah, I'd take a few vacation days and try to get some sleep and wake up for them, but not now.
You got plenty of games to catch up.
Plenty of games. It's going to be weird though. They're going to be 0-2, and then they'll have 2 more weeks of spring training, and then they'll have to start the season up again 0-2 because they're not beating the Dodgers. Maybe they'll get lucky if they split. I'll go do a snow angel if there's still snow on the ground by then.
Oh, get that on recording, please.
But,
I did see Mike Trout is going to play right field.
Yeah, we'll see if he stays healthy. I don't know if moving to right field will help him stay healthy. I think he should probably be a full-time DH at this point if he wants to. But if he plays more than 110, 115 games this year, I'll give him credit for sticking it out.
Hey, I said that was one of my bold predictions. He was going to stay healthy this year. So, willing into existence.
Birdie bogey time. What quarterback has the most yards passing in a single postseason?
2 names. They're both probably wrong, and I'm going to throw both of them out there. Then I'm going to pick one, and you're not going to tell me right away if they're both wrong or whatever. Right. But Kurt Warner came to my mind real quick, back-to-back seasons there. And for some reason, Nick Foles, because he threw for about 1 million yards in the Super Bowl itself. With that said, I'm going with the first name that came to my mind, Kurt Warner.
They were both wrong.
Yeah, of course they are.
Eli Manning.
I could have guessed 10 quarterbacks would have been him. So.
2011 threw for over 1,200 yards.
I'm so bad at this.
4 games, man. That's
embarrassing.
Yeah, I don't remember his run being all that great.
Yeah.
Obviously it was. I mean, they're a wild card team, but that means he averaged 300 yards passing that entire postseason. They played in was that the year they played in Green Bay where it was like 0 degrees? Dang,
Yeah.
it's impressive.
And he didn't get in on first ballot. So
I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J Man Show. We'll be back at it next Monday. Hopefully we'll be a little happier next Monday, but I know I won't be. So have a great week, everybody.